plant up to June 2001, I had 37 years, 9 months service, of which the last 3 months with Visteon. That's when my pension went into the Visteon fund for the last 3 months of my 38 years service. Now, obviously, you, like many others, were very surprised when this announcement hit the our mats. And in typical Visteon fashion, I think it came as a great surprise, similar as it did to the guys when they were thrown out the plant on the 1st of April. Now, I suppose, like myself, after the initial shock, I just went through this document very fleetingly, and then a little while later I went through and tried to pick out the pertinent points that would affect me. In my case, most of the points affect me. So, as a cry for help, I decided to contact a few of my colleagues, past work colleagues, Trevor Jones, Dennis Varney, Dave Coons and Dave Weeks, who's hiding out there somewhere. And we all met up at the Tar Pots pub just over 2 weeks ago, and we decided that possibly if we're a group with concerns, there are other groups with concerns. There are other people on their own with concerns. How can we gel this together? So the upshot of that meeting was the fact we left there that we would voice our concerns to all our local MPs, and we would try to spread the word to as many people as possible. And by what's shown up here, I think that's been a reasonable success, and I thank you for coming. We've got colleagues here who've come from the plants in Enfield, and via Frank Jepson, I spoke to him a week or so ago when he was in Belfast, so that our colleagues over there are very au fait with what's going on. Now, I won't go into the full details of this because you've most probably gone through all the implications of this, of going into the Pension Protection Fund. Now, when you peel away the various layers, it's easy to run away with the kind of idea that it's just 10%. Now, a lot of people, in that case, it is 10%. But if you took a lump sum up front, then there's another factor that you have to apply, and you couple that with the actuarial age factors on the PPF compensation fact sheet. And depending on personal circumstances, depending on the age you were when you were retired, and depending on the amount of your pension, the actual hit, in some cases, say senior management, can be up to 50%. Now, I also carried out personal calculation today, and I looked at my personal circumstances. I won't go into figures, but I can give you percentages. My actual pension since I retired in June 2001 has gone up by 14.98%. By applying the PPF index-linked factors to that part of the pension from April the 5th, 1997 to when I retired, which was 4 years, my actual increase in 9 years is 1.15%. And I can tell you now that's between £20 to £30 that my pension would have gone up in 9 years. Now, a colleague of mine out here, John Hill, I was speaking to him earlier, and he said, obviously, you know, history tells us that we go from periods of recession to periods of inflation, and we can expect that in the next few years. And if we hit a high period of inflation, there is no way that I and my family could actually survive on the pension that I'll be receiving. I just cannot afford to live. I may have to consider going back to work. At my age, I'm coming up to 62, 38 years service, I hadn't planned for that. Now, on our quest to kind of gel everyone together and get the groups together, we've got Angela Smith, who's done excellent work with the unions to achieve the success for the guys who are signed fairly close. We were all wowed by the excellent debate that I think we all saw on YouTube, and hopefully we can enlist the help of Angela on our fight for the pensions. Frank Jepson will have some information for us as regards what the lads are doing over in the Belfast side, because I think there's a guy over there who's pretty vehement in what he's trying to do to correct this situation. I mean, our personal understanding is that we shouldn't allow our pension fund to fall into the hands of the PPF. If we do, we're doomed. I don't think also at this stage we could expect the Visteon Corporation to bail out our pension fund, because if you look at the news recently, I believe that Ford's have recently underwritten a loan for about $150 million to bail out the Visteon Corporation. So I think really our target is the Ford Motor Company. As I say, I was there for 38 years, 37 years, 9 months. The last 3 months was under the Visteon scheme, but because they asked me to stay on an extra month, it was only 2 months would have been under that scheme. So, you know, but as I say, it affects everybody different ways. Everybody's got individual circumstances, but the hit is, it will affect everyone in some way. Now, there's other things to look at. As I say, the four factors, the ones that affected me was obviously I take the hit on the percentage. I take the hit because I took a cash sum up lumps up front. I get hit by the index link factors from my pension from April 1997 onwards, which is 4 years. And also I get hit with the death benefit. I've calculated that in my personal circumstances, where I commuted a lump sum, if I was to die, which I might shortly after this meeting, if I was to die, my pension, my widow would get 50% of my pension, had calculated if I had not commuted part of that for a lump sum. Now I've calculated, I've been in contact with Visteon Paymasters, and they calculated what my pension would be now if I hadn't commuted a sum. And when I compared that, if I was to die now, my wife theoretically would get 60% of what my pension currently is. Under the PPF rules, that would be 45%. So that's another 15% reduction. As I say, if you peel off the layers and look at the individual circumstances, apply to yourself, you can kind of interpret your own hit. I think I've given a kind of bit of background here and what our feelings are. I'm glad that we've managed to gel and that we've all come together, and I'm sure that there's as many people in Belfast who are just kind of upset as we are. So without further ado, I think I'd like to pass you over to Angela Smith, if possible, and she can give us an update on her feelings on this matter.